Yeah, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. This is now the 7th movie, I guess we can argue, in the franchise as a whole. Reboot necessary, ties off the Beast Wars series from the 1990s. Comes in at a relatively reasonable 200 million. But this at this point is now 16 years, I believe, since the original Michael Bay movie from 2007. So Peter Cullen is just phoning this in for a paycheck now. You hear him in there. He's getting older. It's easy health insurance. I'll say that. But I think I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say, I'm going to give you the last movie, by the way. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say trash on this one. I don't think it's going to do well. I don't think it's going to recoup 400 million.
I'm torn on this because on the one hand, yes, you're getting the Maximals, which is for a lot of people that is their generational Transformers. It's like we're now getting away from the 80s kids and we're trying to get to the 90s kids who grew up with this, with the CGI animated show, which to its credit was far better than it had any reason to be. And
my mom watched it. Go figure.
Yeah, and as far as like who they've gotten for the like Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal, that's supreme casting. Like, I would have been fine if this was a movie that was just the Maximals, just in the same way the television show was just the Maximals. We showed that with Bumblebee, you can do something that is a movie apart from the franchise and pretty much stand alone, and people will really gleam onto it. Yes, it didn't make the money that the other Transformers movies prior to it made, but that's because you wore out the good nature of the brand name.
It was also a smaller film too.
Right. Which, like I said, if you just focused on the Maximals, fine, you could have done that. The problem with this is, as for great as Beast Wars was, you're not really bringing in any Predacons. You're not bringing any of those iconic characters on the bad guy side. It's pretty much just a handful of the originals. There's no Rat Trap, which I'm very upset about. And it's still got Pete Davidson in it, man. I can't abide. I'm sorry. Look, Liza Koshy as RC all day. Perfect. I like her look more in this movie than in the third one I think they brought her in. No, it would have been I think even the second one with Skids and Mudflap. I think she was part of that too.
Where Shia LaBeouf went to robot heaven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
that's when the franchise the member berries worked really well in the first movie, and then the second one was like I mean the Mark Wahlberg ones weren't terrible. Weren't great.
Yes, they did, really.
Yeah.
Especially Age of Extinction. Like, because that was the first time that you were saying, like, oh my god, we're getting the Dinobots. And we got them for like
8.5 seconds.
Yeah, at the end of the movie. And they didn't even talk.
Yeah.
You're gonna give me a Grimlock and you're not gonna give me somebody that's like Grimlock want to fight, like you don't give me any of that.
Can I give you a stupid fact? The voice of Grimlock was also the voice of Tidus's dad in Final Fantasy X. Jet.
Okay, yeah, I can hear it. I can see it.
Yeah, it's a stupid random thing. I mean, John DiMaggio was in that.
But yeah, my little geek heart was just like, I sunk at that. So I don't know if the Transformers brand has enough goodwill anymore. Really.
Grimlock. I had a Grimlock as a kid too.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, when you've already taken characters so far in the mythos, whether it be Grimlock, whether it be Wheelie, whether it be any of the one, you killed off Jazz in the first movie, man. I mean, come on. And then you're going to go ahead and bring in Mirage.
And he's like, what are you doing,
Jazz
man?
should have looked in like the 80s, 90s. No. And then poison Pete Davidson. No. Okay, trash. Trash. I can't say it enough.
Pete Davidson is everywhere nowadays, in every friggin' thing. He's got the show on Peacock. He's got the movies, the Taco Bell commercial,
I stopped going to Taco Bell for breakfast in the mornings because of that nonsense. No, man.
I don't have a Taco Bell close enough to me. Otherwise, I probably would go still.
Let the franchise die, give it a decade, then reboot it again.
Dude, he trashed the snot out of his set to the tune of almost over $500,000. And he had to pay for it because he had a meltdown, which, okay, I kind of get that, understand that, and respect that. But yet, because he was producer of the show, that came out of his pocket.
Michelle
So,
Yeoh deserves better than to be involved in this.
I mean, like I said, in this case, this one was $200 million, which means it would have to do four. Do you think it can? Because I'm going to say no.
Well, you're saying $200 just on the film budget alone, right?
Yeah, but you got to double it for marketing and advertising and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So you're looking at 400 million. Will it make that?
Will it cover that? Possibly. Will it be enough to warrant it being a blockbuster hit that it will actually bring Paramount money back? No.
Yeah.
No,
Do you
I
think
think that ship has finally sailed.
Let me ask you this question. If the movie does struggle and doesn't clear 400 million and becomes a loss, do they do a Beast Wars 2?
I don't know. I mean, you're already bringing in Unicron. That's something that should have been saved for the movie. You shouldn't even have played that in the trailer. And nothing against Scourge, but Scourge doesn't have like the throwing power to be like, "Oh, I'll come back and get you again." Like no. You're gonna have to redo Megatron, and it better be the Tyrannosaurus Rex Megatron this time, and don't ever go with the Beast Wars. If you don't bring in any more animals to actually have some sort of continuation for the series, I don't care if this was the 90s or not. If you don't bring in any new, fresh characters and you keep trying to rely on Gen 1, not happening.
Well, like I said, in this case here, I mean, what worked in 2007, and I'll be honest, I actually half wept in 2007 when I heard Peter Cullen's voice, because that brought back so much from the mid 80s. I collected them. I knew how to basically transform them without the instructions. So many of them.
Yeah,
It meant so. And Michael Bay, one of the smartest moves Michael Bay has ever done in his career is he brought in Peter Cullen, and as he put it, he brought in Peter Cullen to center the franchise and be like this, and he nailed that. But by the fourth and fifth movie, you can tell he was just in it for the paycheck, and Cullen's, passion and desire were gone, and now we're on 7. So it's just like paycheck, health insurance. He probably does it from like Source Connect, which means he probably records the entire thing out of his house, in his studio, in the back room. He never even has to leave the house. And he just does. Source Connect is the way a lot of them do it nowadays. But big blockbuster movie, he can do it in his underwear, sitting in his house.
The poster's right there.
Yeah. I was there in '86 when they killed everybody. I was 10.
When they went ahead and just like
movie. Stan Bush's music is just blasting, and we are fired up, and we're excited.
When they're on the ship, and Megatron comes on, and they take out Cliff Jumper and everything, and then Ironhide tries to just like hold on to Megatron's leg, and they're like,
dude, one shall fall. What happens? Optimus Prime dies. And they brought him back later on in the series and everything like that. But dude,
but that's how you do a Transformers movie.
We were 10. And that's the reason why they didn't kill off Duke in the G.I. Joe movie, because of the backlash. So he gets stabbed directly through the heart and goes into a coma.
Yeah.
The blood comes out. You see it right through the heart. It's like, he's like, I believe in you. You're my team. You're my family. He's gone into a coma. It's like,
but yeah, like I'm saying,
don't you know that?
Villain-wise, there's no Megatron, there's no Dinobot, the Scorponok, which I don't think was really killed off in the first movie. He should have still be alive somewhere on Earth. Yeah. So why not do a Scorponok? Why not do a Tarantulas? Black Arachnia, who's like a fan favorite. Like, there's so many characters you could have pulled from. I'm happy to see Rhinox. I'm happy to see Cheetor. But we've seen very little and heard very little from the characters that we should be hearing from. So hopefully they're not just there to sell more toys.
Well, that's what it's all about, though, isn't it? But it's funny. Have we seen Rodimus Prime in any of this yet?
Which one?
Rodimus Prime.
Oh, Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the French sounding one in The Last Night.
Okay.
I think he was voiced by Omar Sy.
To be fair, I never saw Last Night because
Yeah, no.
It involved.
And they gave him some sort of like weird time-stopping gadget weapon. I'm like, okay, but does he get the matrix of leadership? Does he turn into Rodimus? No.
He gives it away in the series in season 3.
No, instead we have to have Optimus go all like psycho and hypnotized by Quintessa.